Oh, there we go. Yeah, helps to unmute the microphone. There, can everybody hear us now?
Testing, testing, testing.
There we go. Okay. How's everybody doing today? It is freezing in Utah, which I just said, but nobody heard me because our microphones were not on. Nice. Okay, yeah, I don't know where the chat box went up there, so you guys will have to figure that out. The chat box is gone. No, we're trying all these new systems, trying to figure out like which way we like to do the lives the best. And I swear every single time it's like a whole brand new, let's figure it all out. So it gets a little bit exhausting. So how's everybody doing? It is freezing here in Utah. I have a sweater on today because it is so cold. Just kind of like Cody's heart was in that show last night, right? It was he was very disappointing in this episode. So we're going to live recap Sister Wives season 19, episode 18, Money is the Root of All Evil. So, which is actually a funny scripture quote. And if you actually go look at the real scripture quote, it does not say money is the root of all evil. It says the love of money is the root of all evil. So now we can all see where Cody's evilness comes from for his love of money that he has, because his main concern and worry in life is like his main thing that he said, the biggest thing that gives him fear is being poor. So I think that's interesting that they would use this particular quote from a scripture for this episode, because I think it's just disgusting that the way he's treating these women. So we watched it last night at about midnight. We watched it because it comes on here at 11 p.m. and watched it with my mom on one side, my husband on the other side, and it was an interesting episode for sure. I think it's so, the way he disrespects these women consistently throughout every single episode is so disgusting. I'm really sad for him that he's chosen to treat his wives this way. And treat the women who have given him babies. Yeah, we have no chat, so sorry, we're gonna have our tech support jump in really quick and try to fix our chat here. We have no chat going on. Yeah, so I think it's really sad to see the way that he treats people. And the way these women have given him everything for 30 years, and he gets on national television and talks about them the way that he does. I think it's disgusting. I think it's gross. I'm sad for him as a human being. He's going to have a lot of karma to make up for the way he treats these women. Now, we've been saying this for months that it was going to end up in lawsuits. There's just no way around it. We've just gone through this way too many times with way too many polygamous men to know how this is going to end. They will not hand over a dollar more or a penny more than they have to, because everything belongs to them. It's not the women. The women and the children have nothing here. Everything belongs to the men in these groups. And that's the hard part about this, is that these men don't care really about what happens with these women when they're not involved with them anymore. So then they literally just don't care. And I think that's one of the saddest things either. I've been saying forever that they were going to have to attorney up, that they're going to have to lawyer up, and that here we are. And they have to do it because he's not going to give them anything. One of the things I did find very interesting about this episode before we dive in is that he did point out several times that Janelle started a company with the family money. All of them have invested all of this stuff in with the family money, yet he made sure that he pointed out to the real estate agent at least 5 or 6 times that we saw on camera that he bought one of the lots himself. Really? He didn't use family money to buy that lot. So I find that very interesting that what's good for the wives is not good for Cody. And it makes no sense to me that he can do all of, he could buy a lot on his own, but if a wife were to buy anything on her own, then that's family asset. So I think that's really interesting, the way that he's
separating the two.
Right. And I did talk about on our live reaction last night, because we did a live reaction, I did talk about how the seed planting, and you're going to see a lot of seed planting in this episode because he wants to make sure that people know that Janelle's evil or whatever he's got. So we'll point out some of that during this episode too. Let's see. What words did Mel's mom use after Cody spewed those words?
Hello.
What?
Hi, sister.
He's full of shit.
My mom said he's full of shit. So she's sitting right here off to the side watching us film this one today. So yeah, we're going to have a lot to go on this episode. This episode was really infuriating. So we started, like I was saying earlier before we started messing around with the sound, we started this episode about midnight last night. And it takes us about a year and a half, an hour and a half to get through every episode because we talk, we pause, we talk, we pause, we talk. We didn't go to bed till after 3:00 last night because we were all so riled up about everything that we had to sit and chat about it for a while because it's just so infuriating the way that these men's minds work. And the thing is that they always feel 100% justified in their actions. And for the rest of us, we're like, how do you live with yourself?
Because he's the leader of the family and he's got to protect the whole group, which really means himself.
Right.
So.
Yep. So somebody says, "Hi, Mom. It's always fun to hear you stay strong." So I don't know if you guys will be able to hear. I'm going to tell her to yell those swear words across the room so that you guys can hear her. Because yeah, she's sitting across from the microphone. So we actually, a little life update, which is kind of awesome. We were able to finally buy some new microphones. So they are going to be delivered by tomorrow. So we're going to be filming some new episodes and stuff tomorrow that won't just be lives. Right now we've only done the lives because of our microphone situation, but now we'll be filming the rest of our stuff because we'll be having those microphones here tomorrow. So that's kind of cool. Cory, move softer. You're such a soft-spoken guy.
Closer.
Oh,
Speak louder. I have to outspeak you.
Yeah, I do. I talk really loud, and I think, honestly, I've said this before, I think it's just because I have a hearing.
She's deaf.
Yeah, and so I speak really loud, hoping people can hear me, but yeah, I can get very loud. So on this episode, we start with Jen and Mary, and they're sitting on the front porch, so Jen got the part of Mary that Robyn always wanted, and cried about for years and years and years about just being able to sit on a porch with her sister wife and drink coffee or whatever it was and love her sister wives. And yet here we are seeing Jen have that ability that Robyn will never obtain at this point. So it's a blessing so Mel can ignore Cory when she wants or needs to. It's very true. I have selective hearing.
Yeah.
I think that's what happens when you're one of 34 kids. You get very selective hearing. So we all go into the episode with Mary talking about how she met her dog and how her dog is, a good companion for her. We've seen Zona on all of her social media. She posts about her a lot. I think it's awesome that she found some companionship in that way.
That has loyalty. Something that I loved her tagline on that. Yep. Some loyalty that Cody would appreciate. So. Yeah.
And so I think that's really sweet that she's got Zona on here. And she goes into kind of the explanation of how she met Zona, why she decided to get Zona. So I think that's really awesome for her that she's got that. I just thought that it was really funny. I feel like, and I could be wrong, I feel like the whole sitting on the front porch in their rocking chairs was a dig at Robyn. And maybe not like a, screw you type of dig, but it was definitely a dig, in my opinion. What did you say? What were you going to say?
Nothing. My phone was ringing.
Oh, yeah. So I thought that was really funny. That's what's happening. Now, I think it's also, what do you say?
It was absolutely an awesome dig.
Yeah. Yeah, they totally took a dig because the dramatic scene of, I just wanted to sit on the porch with my sister wives.
And I do. Whoever's editing the show is doing an amazing job. So all through this, the editing part of this, the setting it up for us to see the sister wives sitting on the front porch or the friends sitting on the front porch, and also as Robyn is telling how her and Mary put the heart and soul into Sister Wives Closet the whole time Christine's selling it. So,
oh my gosh, yeah, and we'll get to that.
Whoever's doing that is amazing on your editing work.
Corey noticed that last night. Robyn's like, I put my whole heart and soul into this business, and no one else wanted to do it. And then you've got Robyn in the background, and Christine's up front working her magic, because Christine has always been so very friendly. What did you say?
She's a great salesman.
She is. Well, and Christine is the one who got Sister Wives going anyways in the first place. So I think that's interesting too. Okay, so...
She does have FOMO.
Who has FOMO?
Just Robyn's got FOMO missing out on the front porch scene. So
I think too, which we've all seen the advertise, or the, what are they called when they come out ahead of time? The promotions or the teasers. We've all seen the one where Cody calls Mary's friends the B word, right? And I think that's one of the reasons why he did it, is because here you've got Jen and Mary on the front porch, and it's a direct dig at Robyn. And so Cody's got to step in and defend Robyn as much as he can. Teasers and trailers, depending on the length, In your experience, how binding are the deeds and names on them? I just wonder how much a lawyer can do for him. Oh, they're very binding. So they're very binding. They would have had to have come up with some sort of settlement. Women power ruled this episode. So true. So go ahead.
No, all the money makers showing that they can still make money. So,
and here's the thing, is they're showing that they can still make money, but they're showing it in that now they're empowered. Where before, when you're in a polygamous family like that and you're making the money or you're doing whatever, you're always discounted. What you do is never enough. You're always being discounted because you always have the priesthood head or the head of the family off to the side, always providing more than you. And so your efforts are minuscule, or they're they're talked down upon. And so now you walk around all the time with that list in your head that we've talked about, that Cody gave Mary. You're always walking around with that list in your head going, am I doing enough? Is there enough? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Have I contributed enough? And so you're constantly in self-doubt all the time. Now we're seeing these women who have broken away from this cult, they're broken away from Cody, and they're over here going, what I do is enough. And they're empowered now. And they're not over here just being whiny, cry, sad people because they're constantly questioning themselves. I think that's the greatest part for me to see. What do you think?
Yeah, I do think the same thing. So interesting.
What do you think, Mom? My mom always owned her own business.
Yeah. These guys are making the money and taking care of themselves. It's interesting when you're dumping all that money into the family fund, if you will, and they're always needing more for the family funds, and all of a sudden you're out on your own and you're like, I've got enough. This is amazing.
Yeah.
So
well, and then you're appreciated for your efforts. Mm-hmm. You're appreciated for, hey, what you do has helped my life, and the way David appreciates Christine and the things that she's doing, instead of criticizing her and telling her she's not doing enough.
They're working together.
Yeah, or that he's always doing more than her. That is my number one beef and complaint about polygamy and polygamous men, is it's a way that they keep their thumb on these women, is they're always reminding these women that they do more. And the women never do enough. Would you say that's accurate?
Absolutely.
So my mom always got told all the time that what she did was never enough. So she yelled absolutely from the side. If you guys can hear. David is like Mel's third husband. Yeah, it feels that way. I just appreciate him. And so I love that Christine, everyone wants to talk about why don't these women go after him? Why don't they stick it to him financially? They all dump money into Robyn's house. Sometimes the fight's just not worth it. And it's so much better to just walk away and start your life and do the things that you want to do. And I feel like that's what Christine did. Could she have made more money holding on to Coyote Pass? Possibly. But for her, look at her emotional stability now. Look at the stability that she's been able to give Truly and her children, her other children, because she's out of there. and she doesn't have to deal with it. So,
well, and then she could focus on creating more and more income, more stuff for herself, and not have to deal with this guy just to get that. So here, you just take it. I'm going to walk away, and I'm going to take the funds that I put into the home, and I'm just going to create from here on out. So
right,
she has,
and then she goes into creation mode and creating her life and turning it into what she wants it to be instead of fighting with him about it all the time. And now she's already moved on, and that energy and that baggage is gone. Bunny says, hey, Mel and Cory, quick hello. I'm out watching the inauguration. We thought the inauguration would be over by now, so we apologize that we're going over the top of that. Yeah. Somebody says, okay, this is a really funny. Somebody says, Cory, how often are your clients marriage counseled while taking a therapeutic walk around their property? This is so funny to me because Cory will come home from showing houses and he's like, oh my gosh, does it say,
tell me everything.
Tell me your darkest secrets across my forehead? It drives him nuts. It's so hilarious. Mostly it's elderly women who like to share their deepest thoughts with Cory, and he turns into a therapist while he's out showing homes. It's amazing.
Part of the job.
Yeah.
I love listening.
So I really appreciate that somebody said it best in the comments. This episode really was more about women empowerment, and if we can actually watch that part of it and not just be totally just lit up and want to, then we can really appreciate how far these women have come. And if you watch the way that they do, oh, thank you, Elizabeth.
Yeah, thanks, Elizabeth. That's awesome. If
you watch the way that these women do their couch interviews, their heads are higher. There's a sparkle in their face. They're talking about the exciting things about their lives. When you watch Robyn's couch interviews, she's sad.
She's keeping sweet.
She doesn't understand anything.
Humble.
Where these other three women,
shy.
These other three women, I think that's the biggest dynamic, is that you've got these three women who are clear. They understand where their lives are going. They're out there making plans. They're out there being purposeful. And then you've got Robyn, who does a couch interview, who doesn't understand anything and is always confused. Confusion is not a place you really want to live in your life. It's exhausting. So I really appreciate the fact that Jen is just like, I've said this before, we all need a friend in our lives like Jen. I love how she just keeps Mary empowered. She's constantly reminding her of things. Go ahead.
No, just you need to lawyer up. And she's like, but I wanted to be the favorite ex-wife. Nope, you need to lawyer up. Everybody else is doing it. Just lawyer up. So
yeah,
he's going, you say, hey, what's going on? You're nagging him. So let the lawyer nag him.
I love how Mary said that. When Mary's like, if I even speak now, it's nagging. Yeah. So
communication. There's communication. Oh, yeah, it's his next wife communicating with me. I'm going to call that nagging. So
yeah. So, and I really do appreciate Mary reflecting, hey, Janelle might have been frustrated with me because she warned me and I didn't listen to her. And that's the hard part about this community too, is that we are always taught to look for the best in other people. Try to see someone else is really trying, you try. It's just that constant look for what people are doing good. And then you don't want to believe it when somebody doesn't have your best intentions in mind. And in Cody's mind, he doesn't need to because they don't belong to him anymore. Go ahead.
No, you also have to look at that he's been undermining them for 20 years, their relationship. He's been pitting them against each other for 20 years. There is mistrust on both sides.
Right.
Cody's that in-between guy that's going to run from one side to another and tell on each other and keep them pitted against each other. So when she comes and says you need to look out for your best interest, 20 years of dealing with Cody, well, he's not the bad guy you think he is. Well, now you're figuring it out. Now you've got friends that you do trust their opinion telling you the same thing, and you're going, man, maybe I should have listened to Janelle. So
yeah, and I love that Mary can be reflective on that and then admit, hey, I should have given her more credit. Yeah, thank you, Laura. Laura says Mary finally
figured it
out. Yes, and I appreciate Mary for that. I appreciate her for acknowledging that, because that's a hard thing to acknowledge, that she didn't want, especially with her and Janelle, where they've had some rifting between the two of them, for her to acknowledge, hey, Janelle just came came to me to give me help. So I love that Jen's
Finally found the common enemy. So the one who's been causing the disconnection in the whole family.
Right.
So,
And realizing the common enemy is not each other.
Yeah.
It's Cody pitting them against each other. You know, my mom and I did a surprise live the other night for 15 minutes or so. It was very random. And she confirmed that same thing. Do you believe that you were pitted against your other sister wives for most of your life?
Absolutely. I
don't know if you guys can hear her, but she's saying absolutely.
He was great at it.
Yeah. And when you take a step back, because you don't want to believe that your partner or that your spouse is going to manipulate you like that, you don't want to believe that. But when you take a step back and you can actually see the level of manipulation, it's gross. It's so disgusting. Oh, and I love how Mary says this. Cody, I don't understand a lot of the legal stuff, and Cody just pulls stuff out of his butt and makes it sound like it's legitimate, and it's not. And so I think that's very interesting that she has that perspective. I think this is what Cody will do. Somebody said recently that the land has now been transferred out of Janelle and Mary's name. I don't know if that's true. As of this filming, it's not. And so I think it's interesting that he just blows them off and doesn't want to pay attention to it, doesn't respond. Go ahead.
Kind of probably what they were dealing with when they were married to him. So
yeah. And that is, okay, let's talk about that for just 1 second. When you have polygamous wives, your one wife can come at you about something. Hey, we need to get this resolved. Now you go to another 3 or 4 wives' houses. You don't see her for 4 or 5 days. You don't have to deal with that problem for another 4 or 5 days. That's a tomorrow problem. That's a 5 days down the road problem. That's not a right now problem. And so he's so used to being able to do this, and this is why nothing gets done. Christine complains about this a lot. Nothing ever gets done. Janelle complains about it a lot. Nothing ever gets done because he's not purposeful in trying to have any sort of conflict resolution with these women. It's something he can push down the road 3, 4, 5 days.
And now the women are bringing out little teeny tiny details that they're dropping about the 11 times we have had to move. And talking to Cody's like beating your head against a wall. He sits there and runs you in loops until you're like, fine, I give in. Yep, do whatever. So
yeah.
That constant talking with Cody and never being able to get something done, but then when he wants to pack up and move for whatever reason, they get up and move. So
Yep. And so I think it's interesting. So I really do appreciate Jen and Mary's talk back here. I love how Jen says it's time to be a cactus. It's time to get a little prickly here because you've been way too nice for way too long.
You've been the favorite ex-wife for too long. So.
Yeah. And I was taught growing up, you don't want to be the wife that ruffles the feathers because honey attracts more flies than vinegar does. And what?
Yeah. No, you're good.
So I was always taught that too. You want to be the wife that agrees, but then there becomes a point where then you become a doormat, and you're no longer the wife that agrees. You're the wife that says, "What do you need, sir?" And that's it. And that's where there's a balance between not becoming all of a doormat and then still not becoming that aggressive, mean wife too. So.
No, he can't sell the property. The question is, can Cody sell the land without the wives and get their permission? No. Usually when we find out who's on title, there are 4 people on title. You got to get signatures from all 4.
He couldn't even list the land. He couldn't even list it with a real estate agent without their signatures.
Yep.
So they would have had to have agreed to list the property. At least theoretically he's not supposed to be able to. He probably could, and then they could go after him.
10%.
Right. It wouldn't be a legal binding contract, that's for sure, because it would need everyone who is on title to sign.
To agree.
And to agree. So could Cody move forward? Absolutely, but it wouldn't be legal and binding.
It'd be stupid of the real estate agent to
It would be.
take a listing with one signature.
It would very much be. It's a
You need
waste
to
of
get
his time.
4 signatures. It is a waste of his time. So.
And then all of that counseling and therapy he did walking that 14 acres was for naught.
Free.
So yeah, I really do. I'm so disgusted at how evil this man looks. I mean, honestly, I'm just going to start referring to him as evil because of the way his facial expressions come across on TV, and just the way where he's just like, oh my God, I'm going to eat them alive. Like, what? He looks possessed when he says things like this, when he talks like this.
She says evil. It means actually righteous anger. Righteous.
Yeah, we've talked about righteous anger before, and what
Yeah.
a bullshit concept that is, but there you go. And so a lot of men pull that out as what their go-to with their righteous anger. And so, yeah, somebody said that I don't know, we just lost all of our lighting. I have no idea where it went. So somebody was saying that Cody, it's fine. I don't think we'll just go without it. Hopefully you guys can still see us. We got a little bit dark in here, but I'm not sure. Maybe Cory kicked a cord or something, but we lost our background lights. It's fine. At least we didn't lose our
computer
audio. Yeah, Cody's murder face is what somebody says. I think it's such an evil looking face. I really do, and I'm really disturbed by it. Like, it's almost like I watch these episodes and I'm like, does somebody need to do a health check on him to make sure that he's not mentally completely lost it? Because it seems to me like he has when I see him do this kind of a stuff. What?
I think that Robyn has been kind of keeping him in check in a lot of the interviews, but she's kind of letting him go crazy now on the interviews, which is kind of cool because then later on next season or 2 seasons from now when she's getting a release and from him, she can say, yeah, look at the last 2 seasons. He was an evil man. So,
yeah, I wonder if that is part of her,
MO,
long game. Because I've said
She's
since the very first...
slit his own throat in this season.
Right, and I've said that from the very first live that we ever did together, that I thought Robyn was out for a long game. I still stand by that because I 100% feel like that's what she is doing. And so, yeah, that might be very true, where she's just letting him cut his own throat. I don't know if we can say that. Does that... I mean, I feel like we get censored for things.
Put his foot in his own mouth.
Put his foot... Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. So he loves to go on. He loves to go on with this real estate agent. The poor guy. I mean, I said that earlier. I'm like, poor guy. And somebody came back and they're like, yeah, no, he sold their house for them and helped them buy a new house. That Cody probably bought that real estate agent the truck he pulled up in. And so guy's probably earning his money. That's for sure. There's a lot that we do on the back end as real estate professionals that people don't see. So,
it's good to listen to it too, because then he's going to have those questions for the wives, because he's got to get all 4 of them on the same page in agreement. So
right.
It's good to hear what's going on.
Right. And one of the things that pissed me off so bad watching this episode was when Cody was like,
thanks, Laura.
Was when Cody was going off about, well, I just don't feel like selling it now. So his emotions mean he can't sell it. It doesn't matter if there's an actual binding partners or contracts or anything like that. He just doesn't feel like it, so he's not going to sell it. So he just doesn't want to get around to it. Is that what it is? And I have heard that statement literally come from many, 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 many polygamous men's mouths. I don't care. I don't feel like it. I'm not going to do that right now. No matter the unfairity or the unbalance that affects everyone else around them, they don't feel like it. They're not going to get around to it, so they're not going to do that. Happens all the time. It drives me literally bonkers when he said that. What about Gabe's video jumping in the pond? Yeah, when he said he goes skinny dipping, I don't think this man knows what skinny dipping is.
Did he say skinny dipping
or
skivvy dipping?
No, he said he went skinny dipping for like the 2nd or 3rd time in his life.
Oh, okay.
And then, yeah. So, he should never mind dump on camera. Because when he mind dumps on camera, I don't know, should I keep it? Should I just keep 1 lot? Should I keep some of the lots? Should I sell all the lots? I don't know, I don't feel like doing anything. We'll get back to this in a couple of days. he like incriminates himself so much. Not that, honestly, in my opinion, I think Mary and Janelle are going to settle and walk away because the brain damage just isn't worth it, what he's going to put them through. And unfortunately, I think, you know, a lot of people, they forget that those women helped put into the mansion that these two now live in. They're going to walk away with nothing. I mean, and I've said this from the very beginning, and I hate being right about it, but it is very much right there in their face that they're not going to get what they put into the house, and they're going to take away literally breadcrumbs from Coyote Pass, and they're going to do it just to get away from this man because he's that toxic, and Robyn is that toxic to them.
But Cody wants to remind Janelle that they put money into her business, and so
and she walked away with
everything's all fair.
Yeah, she walked away with the only like business that was making money. Really? Did anyone else do anything on that business, or was that Janelle going to social media posting and getting people to buy her product? Mm-hmm. Like he bought her the startup pack. Guess what the startup pack for that company is? It's like $250. Here, let me give you your $250. Oh, and then I'll give you some interest and get the F out of my life. That's what I would do. So, but yeah, go ahead.
No, we're even.
Yeah,
so
like get out.
Give me the quarter of the land so that I can move on and be out of your hair. And I think he should have probably done that from the very beginning. So, hey, here's your, because they probably both would have just said, yep, let me take it, sign off title, so we can sell it on our own, and we're on our way. So, but he's doing a lot of his little plague math there, trying to figure out who has kids, how many kids, the division of the kids.
Yeah, and notice now, when the assets are going to get split, they're his kids. He has to take care of 18 kids.
He should get a bigger percentage, but even though of those 18 kids, he's booting them out, saying, nope, they need to be living on their own, not get out of Janelle's house that I'm not even in. So yeah, his math, I love it when he's talking to Mary. Mary's got one of the 18, so she should have a lot smaller portion. But when he's talking about Janelle, can't do that because she gave him 6 kids. So now it's fair that she gets a fifth.
Yeah,
we'll give you a fifth.
Yeah.
Why? Are you even counting Christine? Well, no, she didn't get any.
Right.
But Janelle should only get a fifth. So. And
one of the things that infuriates me about this conversation with his real estate agent is he's like, you're going to get an offer, you're going to present it to me, and then I'm going to present it to everyone else. That way it gets filtered to whatever Cody wants it to get filtered to. Instead of their names, that's not how it works. Their names are on the property. You get an offer and you all get on a phone call or you all get on a Zoom or whatever it is, and then you talk about it together so that everyone clearly understands what's happening. It's not filtered through whatever Cody wants them to understand. It's filtered with what the actual offers are. That one lit me up during this. I'm like, that is not how this process works. But unfortunately, in polygamy, that is how this process works. The men are always controlling everything. And then they present to the women what they want the women to understand. And that's it. Other than that, oh, don't worry about all the rest of that. I'm going to go ahead and take care of that so that you don't have to worry about that part of it. And yet that part of it is the most important part of it. But the women aren't, intelligent enough? Educated enough? What is it that these men, they lose power and control when women start to understand what is actually happening? Let's see. And then I can decide what I want to do, he said. So he's talking to the, he does mention that Janelle just wanted him to buy him out. He doesn't have that kind of money. I bet he would have that kind of money if he sold half of the shit he bought in that big, huge house of his. Or if he sold the house that they bought that was supposed to be a family asset, that Robyn was quoted on an episode saying it was a family asset. That if he sold that property, I'll bet you they'd have the money to buy these women out of here. Somebody says, polygamous husbands have never supported the kids. It's the mothers who do it. How often do you men say they can't do that for you because then I would have to do it for everyone?
And that someone's my sister.
Yeah, so Cory's little sister made a great point. I can't do that for you because if I did that for you, I have to do that for everyone. And I have 18 children, or I have 30 children. I can't do that for everyone.
39.
Yeah, and so how do you expect me, like, you're expecting too much from me as a man, because I can't do that for everyone. So it's the mothers who do all of this stuff for the children. It's not the men who do these things. Sometimes the men will come in and they'll take care of some of the important things, and the women are left to do all of the rest of the things. I think that the producers are brilliant when they just let him go off, because he looks so ridiculous. And the shit that he spews is unreal. It's like, what are you talking about when he's like, yeah, I've got all these ex-wives, they're nags. All they do is sit and nag me and nag me and nag me. I think they're geniuses for letting him just talk. Although it infuriates and enrages us as viewers, it infuriates and enrages me as having gone through this experience with my ex-husband. My poor mother sitting there currently going through it. It does enrage us to a level that is like, oh, my mom's like, if I could pull this guy out of the TV and smack him around. No, we don't condone physical violence around here, but oh my gosh, would we not want to do that? Because it's infuriating when you have contributed into this unit, this family, this unit for so long, and now all of a sudden you deserve nothing. You deserve the minutes. So Cory's going to get out of the comments and come back to this with me. Cory's over here reading he gets lost in the comments a lot. So I know, and we'll do a Q&A later, or even at the end of here we can do a Q&A. But sometimes it's hard to keep up with some of the comments.
Sweet.
Okay, where did our closed captionings go? Okay. Oh, okay. So then we're at the point where Robyn's on the couch and she says, it irritates me that once upon a time we had this family unit that worked, and it just took a couple of years and for it to fall apart. How do you think these original wives feel that it irritates them that they built something for 15, 20 years before Robyn came along? And it only took a couple of years for that to completely disintegrate, for that to completely be gone, for Cody's kids to mean nothing to him, for him to want to kick them out of the house. How do you think these women feel? They were in the mud and the yuck at the very beginning when they were trying to form this polygamous family. And how do you think they feel when they watch one person come in and literally undermine and undercut everything that they've spent the last 20 years building? I'm sure it became pretty interesting for them too.
Yeah, Robyn is saying in this that she wants the family all together on Cody Pass. That was the dream. That was the dream that Cody had, that she had. And yet you watch Janelle live in a trailer on the property, try to not use very much resources at all so that they can pay off the property, so they can start to build. She's making the sacrifices so that they can get onto that property quicker. She's asking Robyn, please don't suck down all the resources into a great big house. Well, it's just an investment. Okay, but don't suck down those resources so we can pay off the land, so that we can. So Janelle's doing the work until she was just like, this is ridiculous.
Right.
None of them are doing the work. I'm the only one living in the trailer on a piece of land. I'm done. I'm done putting in the time and the effort that Robyn is verbally saying that she's doing. She's not. So now Janelle's gone, and then Robyn's boo-hooing that it all fell apart. You didn't do anything. You didn't do anything to do it. You might say that was your dream, but she did not do anything to try to create that dream.
Right.
Neither did Cody. So all I saw was Janelle pushing for that.
Right.
For that dream. So
Janelle was willing to make the sacrifices that she wasn't, that Robyn wasn't willing to make.
And I think the other two wives had quit by that time. They were like, yeah, big house on the hill, us living in it, no thank you. And so they checked out. Janelle was the only one still pushing for that property until she wasn't. And then Cody can sit and, oh, this was our big dream. Bull crap. It was not your big dream.
Right.
It wasn't Robyn's big dream. You guys got your big dream in the house. and now you can move up to a bigger
Right.
house. So.
And that is very discouraging for polygamous women. Now, not everybody has a show like this that they can fall back on. They don't. And so it is very frustrating when one of my very best friends growing up, she would talk to me about this. She was out working 24/7. She never did not work because she needed to help go into the family funds for the big house that they were all going to build eventually. And it was so discouraging for her to watch one other wife drain the financial resources while the other wives are out putting the financial resources into the same pot. And so that's very frustrating when and now you're stuck. These women have options because they went public. So many polygamous women don't have options. They feel like they're stuck. They're going to be stuck 9 months pregnant, working a minimum wage job for the rest of their lives to try to help the family funds, and yet there's no way out of it for them. They don't feel empowered to break away from this. And so they keep doing what they keep doing, and their lives are miserable and sad because they don't have options that fame and fortune has brought these other women. And not to say that they don't deserve it, because they have literally eaten a lot of public scrutiny and a lot of public, hate and shit on this family for a long time. But these other polygamous wives, they don't have those options. And so you'll see them just suck it up and dump all their paychecks into the family fund while you've got one or two wives draining resources as fast as the other wives can put the resources in there. And it's a way to get really depressed. It's a way to get really discouraged. It's a way to lose all hope about what your future holds. And so, go ahead.
No, it's just interesting that he even makes a couple stabs while he's showing the property at Janelle about moving out there, her loyal dogs, and it's not something that, she was doing all of the sacrificing to get them out there. I'd love to see if Robyn would have joined out there in a trailer. She wouldn't have. Nope. That's something. I don't know how my parents did it. When they were building their big house up there in Pinesdale, he had 3 wives and 9 kids in a 2-bedroom trailer trying to build. Everybody was building. So Robyn would have never, ever done that kind of
This was the same trailer in the same trailer court that Robyn's family lived in, that Cory lived.
Man, it was crazy. 3 wives and 9 kids in a 2-bedroom trailer. Whew.
Yeah. But they made those sacrifices to get to the big house. And so now they have we call it the big house because it's huge and ginormous. That then at that point, then he put, he had 9 wives at one point. And so, these women are willing to make the sacrifices. So now we skip to the scene where we've got Janelle and Christine and Maddie talking about all the exciting things that they're done. And this is what I love to see, is the life come back into these women's eyes, because 10 years ago, if they would have made these kind of moves, here Janelle buys this land. It's an exciting adventure for her. It's an investment for her. Christine buys a house in Moab. It's an exciting adventure for her. Had they have bought this property when they were in the family, it wouldn't have been as exciting because the resources would have been drained out faster than these women could add them. And that's what's so sad, is because now they see a light at the end of the tunnel, because these are their efforts and they're the ones that are going to benefit and reap the fruit of their own labors, not somebody else.
And notice that they're both in here supporting each other. The kids are supporting them in their choices. David is supporting Christine in her choices. They have got support in there. And then I loved the little tagline where Robyn says, yes, Cody and the other wives didn't support Mary and I in building sister's wife closet, so that's why it failed. And Cody did his walk of shame on here. Yes, I should have supported the wife, Robyn's dream better. Yeah. But he didn't support any of the other wives' dreams. The only dream that he was in full force with was his dream of the big house on the hill, and he couldn't get all of them to agree to that. So poor guy, his dreams haven't been supported by them evil women. So
No, yeah. Where's their financial backing, anyways? Somebody says, why would anyone trust Kody in any business venture? He's filmed himself literally cheating on the mother of his children, the mothers of his kids. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I would never trust him in any sort of adventure. And so Janelle once again talks about why would he ever, they're waiting and waiting and waiting for Coyote Pass to come to fruition. What are we going to do with this? What are we, and she's the one sacrificing in a trailer. And then she says the quiet part out loud. Why would Kody want to move forward on Coyote Pass when he lives in a cush, lush house with Robyn? He doesn't need to move forward.
Motivation.
Right. He has no motivation to do it because he has a comfortable, cushiony house. So then we go back to Jen and Mary, and they're on the porch and they're talking about Mary, Mary dumping into the family resources, Mary contributing, but then also Mary paying for her child's schooling on her own and paying for her own car on her own. And, I don't know what the family finances are like at all, and I don't want to pretend that, but I do have some thoughts on this one. And as much as I love Mary and, really appreciate Mary, what's frustrating for me is that some of those kids chose to go to community colleges. Those were a ton less expensive, and they lived at home, or they took a bus, or they shared a car, from my understanding, to get to their colleges. Mary's child decided to go to one of the most expensive colleges in Utah. It's by far the most expensive college in Utah. And there's, when you're doing that, you can't take away resources. It's the same thing that we're saying about Robyn's going to take away resources to buy this huge house. Well, it's the same thing. This child cannot take away all of her education is costing the same amount as 4 other children's educations. So yes, if you want to go get that education, then you're going to have to supplement the extra that the family would not have had to pay. And so that's frustrating for me when I listen to that kind of stuff, because I had siblings like this and they were entitled to more than the rest of us had. And the rest of us had to give up our options so that this child could have more. And I had a sibling like this that was so over the top, given everything that they wanted, and it was exhausting because the rest of us were taken. What we would have had was taken away from us to give to this child because this child was more special. How's that fair? And this school I know is expensive. Our daughter went there. She got a scholarship, and it is stupid expensive school. And so she went 1 semester and then she was out. And because the scholarship ran out, and you cannot afford to do schooling like that. So when you're one child and you're taking up the same amount of educational cost as 4 other children, there has to be made. So I don't think that Mary's a victim by any means by having to pay for her own child's education. She chose to supplement a more expensive college than anyone else got. Hopefully that makes sense. And I'm not trying to talk any sort of shit on Mary for doing that, but she's not a victim in that situation. She made a choice to let her child go to this school. Okay, and then
supported her.
And she supported, and that's awesome. I am so proud of Mary for doing that for her child, that her child could have a better education for that. That's awesome to watch Mary do that as a mother. Let's see. Thank you so much. MJFM says, do you know the educational backgrounds of any of the adult Browns? Please give insight on the AUB's attitude on getting a degree. Is it different for girls? So I don't know their educational background. I know some of them have had some college. I believe they all did graduate high school. I mean, I went to high school with Christine, so I know Christine graduated high school. I don't know if any of them have been educated past high school, if not just some college degrees, or if they've taken trade school trainings of some sort. I don't know that. The attitude of getting a degree, what do you think about that? I feel like the AUB is definitely
more supportive, and that's because they would like educators, doctors, nurses, things like that within the community, so they don't have to go out to the Gentile world. So, I mean,
And we
I
all
guess
just
you
found
could
out.
get scholarships. I'm assuming
Yeah.
you could get scholarships to go to schooling, but you probably, I don't know. I was never offered one. So.
Yeah. Well, and we all know that Cody went to college, so apparently we all just found that one out. How fun was that? And so, yeah, I don't know. Does anyone go to BYU? I mean, no, not that I'm aware of. I know some women I know one woman in particular, she left her husband in the AUB and she joined the LDS church. And then because she was a single mom with a dozen children, they gave her a full ride scholarship to BYU, and she went and got her accounting degree at BYU. As soon as she got that accounting degree, she left the church and came back into the AUB, because otherwise she would not have been able to afford that education, because the BYU has apparently one of the top accounting divisions out of most colleges in the nation. They're one of the top. So she was able to go get this very expensive degree and then join the AUB right after.
That would be a good question for your mom. I don't know if you can get schooling, or if these kids just got their own schooling.
Your dad was denied BYU because he was spiritually immature.
Oh, are you serious?
Dead serious.
He did go to the University of Utah though for a while.
Yeah.
So if you don't know who my dad is, he is the current leader / prophet of the AUB. And so my mom's over here. She was the second wife. And yeah, I did not know that. So my dad did attend the U, but was denied BYU for being spiritually immature. What does that even mean?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Well, he was a part of the AUB. His family was part of the AUB, so he was denied going to BYU. I think he could have sued them for discrimination.
Okay, so if everybody remembers, Maddie was denied going into the church because her family was still part of the AUB. So that's very similar. My dad was denied being able to go to the BYU college because his family was members of a polygamous cult. So yeah, so that's the U is better than BYU anyways. I agree with you on that completely. So so he did go to the U for a while. What an inspiring story. The current prophet wasn't accepted into BYU, but is now the leader of the AUB. Yeah, that's true. So, I think that's hilarious. I did not know this about my dad. I did know he did attend a little bit of college. But as for the rest, I think that's one of the reasons that they did push education so much on the show and tried to really encourage all their children to go to college. I think a lot of that was for the show, because if they were to just live in the AUB, typically those girls are going to be married off like this, and they wouldn't have always had the opportunity to go to college, and maybe some of the boys would have had more of an opportunity to go to college. But where they had the show and they had some financial resources, I think they made it a priority. Now, this is just strictly my opinion. I don't know if that's what they did, but it's not normally encouraged for every single child to go to college. It's only those special ones that have special abilities that are like, hey, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to school to be a doctor.
Your dad felt like everyone should go to college for the experience.
Right.
And he didn't want to marry any woman that hadn't had some sort of college.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so my dad did promote some level of college for experience purposes and didn't want to marry anybody who didn't go to college. Education's always been really, really, really important to my dad. He always makes it a huge priority to come to every graduation, and so that has always been, for at least for my dad, that's been the case. Like our girl Mel that was married. Yeah, I was married at 17. 8 days after 17, I didn't even graduate high school until I was 25. So I do think that's funny that dad encourages encourages that, and then yet I got married so young. Okay, Cody does talk, I want to brush on this. Cody does talk about trying to sell the property, that he's not trying to stall with these women, that he just doesn't know what to do, so he's not doing anything. And these are the way he says this, I literally wanted to but he says, these are my ex-wives. They're asking me to do them a favor. What in the hell does this man think that he's talking about? they're not asking him to do shit. They're asking him to leave them alone and dissolve what they had. That's all they're asking. He's not doing them any favors. They did themselves a favor by leaving that situation and getting out of it. They don't need favors from him.
And they're just wanting to cut the last tie so they don't have to deal with him ever again. But he still needs to hang on and let these women know that he's still in some sort of in charge of something, in control of.
Yeah, he did them no favors whatsoever. When but this is the mentality of these men. If I bother with you for any reason, you're lucky. This is a favor that I'm doing for you. And then he goes on to say, I'm a busy person. I have a lot to do. And so that's the mentality that I see with 99% of all polygamous men that I have ever encountered or ever known. If I bother with you for anything, you're welcome. I'm doing you a favor. And it's such a superiority attitude of I'm better than these women and children. I'm really important. Do you know who I am? And so because they have this mentality, they literally, it's like a pat on the head of, oh, you're welcome that I bothered with you and for you. And so when he said that, oh my gosh, all I could do is see my dad going, you're welcome. You're welcome. So yeah. So, and then they're talking, we go back to Jen and Mary. We're going to have to move this along. We're only 20 minutes in and we're an hour into our live. So anyways, we'll go back to Jen. We really do appreciate it. So I was talking about Leon and the car and all that. At one point, I swear I heard Cody say, the women took care of each one of their households, and I took care of having cars and insurance for the children. And then they go on here and say that Mary paid for her child's car. So I feel like we get so much bullshit in this show. It's like there's so many different stories. And again, this goes back to, I've said this a dozen times, and this can get confusing because in the AUB, they make up the rules as they go along, and it depends on who you are, and it depends on your last name, and all that makes what you get different from what someone else gets. It's no different than individual families. It's the same thing in an individual family. It depends on, they make up the rules as they go along, and it depends on who you are, who's your mother, what position you hold in the family unit, and if you're going to get the same resources that someone else gets. Mm-hmm. And so it's very much a community thing, and it's very much an individual family thing. At least in my experience, it absolutely is. Go ahead.
If you're going to be faithful and follow in the parents' footsteps, then you probably would get more. If you were more of a rebellious kid, I mean, probably still be taken care of, but maybe not as much. So it depends. It's
it's true.
It depends on each, and it is. It's who's the favorite wife versus who's favorite kids. So.
Well, and then he goes off and he's all, Mary can complain all she wants, but she's still got her wet bar. Took a dig at Mary. I just think it's funny that he's always saying, these women are always out talking shit about me all the time. They're always out gossiping about me. They're always out saying all this stuff about me. And then every episode, he says the most god-awful things about these women. And it's disgusting why she says that. My mom's over here reading the comments. Did you see that comment, Mom?
Which one?
Ask your mom who her favorite son-in-law is and why did she pick Cory.
I love Cory.
Yeah, Cory is the favorite son-in-law. Let's just get that out there. I mean, there's no question about that. So, but I've said this before. I think Mary had the position of Robyn before Robyn came into the family. But the difference is that Mary really did try to make the whole family work together. She really did try to be a part of all of that, even though she did even though she was the in charge, or the favorite wife, if you will, before Robyn came around, she really did put all of her efforts into the family as well. She did receive special treatment that some of the other people didn't receive. We've seen it. I've seen it on a couple of episodes. Her child received special. Go ahead.
or she answered questions. She was the one that when the other wives were asking what's going on, Cody was probably leading them on, and so she steps forward and yes, probably looks like the bossy wife, looks like this, but answered the questions, found solutions, did things like that. They all lived in the same house together, maybe not peacefully, but they all coexisted in the same house together. Robyn couldn't have done that. Robyn didn't want to live with these guys, and nobody was going to live with Robyn all in the same house.
Right.
So
right.
I think, I mean, I'm just looking at it because we didn't get to see just a sliver at the very beginning of them all living in the same house together. And yeah, you probably had Mary and the wives were one, to my view, were the ones running the house, taking care of the things. Cody was just driving around in his sports car, coming up with cool little taglines that failed. So,
but one of the things I do want to point out that is so on here, she says, you know, he takes a dig at her about the wet bar, and then she comes back and she's like, "So that's stupid wet bar. So I got my wet bar. I made the house payments. I'm the one who took care of it. The family didn't do that." I feel like we can use this as a really good example, how these men pit these women against each other, because he didn't go talk when the whole situation. I watched this episode on a couple of different clips, and he didn't talk to Mary and say, "Hey, you're going to need more money." What he did was he went to Christine and said, "Mary is over budget. Can she have some of your budget?" And Christine's like, excuse me, are you serious? Like, if I'm under budget, I have other stuff I could put into my house. Now she, in her mind, is like, Mary's trying to take what's mine. And so then he goes back to Mary and's like, "You're over budget. Christine's under budget, but she doesn't want to share." So she's going to go ahead and put brick or stone on the outside of her house because she's so far under budget. Why can't you get under budget? What's wrong with you? And so then now you've got the comparison game going on, because now Mary's upset because I didn't ask Christine to put money into my house. And Christine's upset well, if I have extra money, why do I have to give my extra money up? Why can't I do something nicer for my house? And this is a perfect example of how these men pit these women against each other, and they're none the wiser because they don't know what's happened. If this hadn't have been televised, this would have been a huge issue for this family for years. For years, it would have been, well, Mary tried to take some of my extra on my house. And being in the mortgage industry, that's not a thing. You can't do that. You can't take funds from one house and dump it into another house. That doesn't even make sense. And so I can't say, I'm going to finance your $400,000 house. But by the way, I'm going to take $20,000 out of that, and I'm going to give it over here to this other $400,000 house. That's not how that works. And so it's just a perfect example of how these men pit each other against each other. Now, there's a sliver between Mary and Christine because Mary's greedy and wants more than what Christine has. And why does Christine feel like she always has to fight for every little penny? And now who comes out the victor in the situation? Cody, because then he goes to Christine and he's like, "Don't worry, sweetheart. I told Mary she can't have anything of yours." And then he goes back to Mary and he goes, "Okay, if you can figure out this wet bar, let's go ahead and get it for you because Christine's going to go ahead and put stone on the outside of her house." What a bullshit way that these men control these women. And this is how they do it, is by examples just like this, where now these women feel like the other one has done something wrong. And Mary's like, "Tell Christine to stay out of my business. This is my house. I'll work on it if I want to. If I want to pay the extra for the wet bar, I'll buy the damn wet bar myself." And yet, Christine didn't want to be in Mary's business. So, hopefully that makes sense. Does that make sense to you, Mom? Do you ever have an experience like that? She's over here laughing like, what the? Yeah. And so I love that Mary claps back and is like, "The family doesn't pay for my shit. I pay for my shit. I pay for my kid. I pay for my house. I pay for everything. The family doesn't pay for it." And
we bought this land so they can cash me out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So yeah, you're going to, Cory's face says everything we need to know. It always does. Cory and his facial expressions.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, so what you're saying is polygamy doesn't work. Right there. Yeah. And so it is a very patriarchal society where the man is in charge. And so then Cody comes back. Oh my God. Yeah, we're going to get to this one here. And then Cody comes back and is like, I need to be in charge. Polygamy does not work unless the man is in charge. You can't go into a business with women you don't want your sister wife to tell you what to do.
Yeah. And
yet you see that all over with other things. You see that maybe not in business, but you see it all over in everything else. So Cody's saying, we can't go into business as a family because we can't have one sister wife telling the other sister wives what to do.
Can't be a boss.
Can't be a boss to them.
To the other sister
wives. And so that's what's so frustrating and irritating to watch, is that you still get Robyn over here going, yeah, we're not doing that. I mean, we saw her with COVID. You what?
Robyn was the puppet master. Mm-hmm. Cody did exactly what she wanted.
But he didn't support her like she needed support on that sister wife's closet. So
if any, hopefully you guys can hear that.
She wanted to do a stab at that too. So that was a fun part.
Yeah, hopefully you guys heard that. My mom says Robyn's a puppet master. And it's true. It's so true. She's back there pulling the strings of everything that's happening, but she can't be the boss. Here, scoot over just a little bit so you're more in the screen. You're like slowly getting off to the side. So I love that David is on this FaceTime call with these girls. David is so supportive in so many ways to Christine and the things that she wants to do and what she wants to have done. I love that for her. I love that she has him in the background going, I believe in you. You can make these choices, you can make these decisions, and we'll go from there. And yet that's not what you see in a polygamous community. And I understand why these men don't always, like, if you just let a woman in this situation where there's one man and there's 5 women, and you just let one person take off and do whatever they want with the financial resources of the family, then you get Robyn living in a multi-million-dollar house and Janelle living in a trailer. That's what happens. Because Cody wasn't the patriarch that he claims that he wants to be, that's what ends up happening. And so then he's over here like, well, we've got it. We can't do this with business, but wait, but then you can do it with houses, and you can let one wife live in an apartment while the other wife lives in a multi-million-dollar house. He makes no sense. The things that he says are so contradictory to each other. Go ahead.
I'm just going to predict that in a future show, he's going to be sitting there complaining that he should have listened to Janelle more because they would have been on the property with the great big house that he was looking for, and that Robyn stole his resources from that big house on the hill when she's left him with the big one. So I could be wrong. They're probably going to be happily ever after. I mean, this is a lightning bolt. What is it? What are they? Soulmate type of scenario.
Or you're just going to get struck with a lightning bolt.
But I could be wrong. But I'm not.
Well, and then we go to the couch scene with Janelle. And I've said this a million times. Janelle is the queen of this movie. This movie. I absolutely love Janelle because she says FLDS women, a lot of other women, they don't have financial autonomy. They're not independent. They can't leave if they want to leave. And that's why you have no way of financially supporting yourself. And this is one of the ways that these women stay stuck. They end up getting 5, 6, 7, a dozen children, and they have no way to support those children. And so they have to stay in the financial situation that they're in, which is this family. And so there's no way to get out of it. Now, when I left, I was 25 years old. I had a 1-year-old, and I had a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, and I didn't graduate high school. I had no idea how I was going to support myself. And my ex-husband did very well for himself financially. He owned a construction company too. And so I was so terrified to leave for that reason. And I went back several times because how am I going to feed my children at this point? And so I really love that Janelle comes in and calls it out just as it is. These women have no financial ability to take care of themselves. Go ahead.
Well, and even in past episodes, she's even said that she's frustrated with herself that she let herself get into this, that she didn't protect herself in the process, and that's why she's lawyering up. She's like, okay, I've got to start taking. And so the best way to do that is to get a lawyer who looks out for your best interests, has your fiduciary duties in place, and let the lawyer do the talking to Cody so that she doesn't, he can feel like he's not being nagged.
Right.
So.
Well, and then she says in there, when you don't have financial resources, you don't have choices. Your choices are taken away from you. That's what it feels like. And then you have these men hoarding over this family fund, and you have no way of actually taking care of yourself. And how many times my mom and I were just talking about this the other day. How many times have these women have these financial opportunities or financial availabilities to them, and they're talked out of it? Because if they actually did whatever it is that they wanted to do, that gives them too much financial independence from the family. And my mom and I were just talking about this, about she was going to buy a house and my dad talked her out of it. She could have bought it in her own name, had everything in her own name, and she would have owned that property. And my dad talked her out of it. Why? Because she would be too financially independent, and he would lose a level of control over her that he's held over her for 50 years. And that's why he talks her out of it. Not because now she could buy that property as long as she's willing to put him on title, as long as she's willing to put him on, so he legally owns it, but he doesn't legally have to pay for anything.
Protects his interest as a priesthood holder.
Right, right. And so that's what's so frustrating. And so then I love that Christine goes into, I love being my own boss. I love doing my own thing. I love making my own decisions. Mm-hmm. Because if it was a committee decision before, if I wanted to do anything, get the whole family together, hope everyone agrees with what it is that you wanted to do. And then if one person disagrees, then now where do you move forward with it? Mary wanted to buy the Airbnb. They all shut her down on it. So what did she do? She went out there and worked harder. Kudos to Mary for being able to buy the Airbnb, put her kid through the most expensive college in the state of Utah, and give her a car, and who knows what else she's done on the side. And so these women have to go out there and find these other ways of providing for their children and themselves if they want extras in life. Extras that the rest of us consider just part of living. And so that's what I think is so disgusting, is when you have a committee. Now, question, my mom started her own business when I was 14. Did you have to have a committee decision on that, or did you just do it? You just went,
I just did it.
You just went, screw you all, I'm doing it myself. Yeah.
Well, there's a passion that they have when they're doing their own business, when they're building something. And so when it's like, hey, we've got some business ideas, and it's like, oh, but my passion is the Sister Wives Closet, and you guys should all support me. And it failed because you guys didn't support me. You guys didn't do the work to get my passion out there. So,
you guys weren't it's awesome. Ridiculous. Somebody says, Mel, do you mean like when Cody told Christine that raising the children was the easy part? Like he'd ever done any of that? That pissed my mom off so bad, because, and it's true. It's so true. The men go, oh, that's the easy part. It's easy because you didn't do it, asshole. That's why it's easy. You didn't change the diapers. You didn't stay up all night with sick kids. You didn't stay up all night with sick kids and then get your ass up and go to work the next day. That's why it was easy for you. And so that's one of the things that frustrates me so bad when I hear comments like that too, is because they don't do that part. And these women still get up and go to work the next day. Why? Because they have to. They don't have another choice other than going to work to make sure that they can get paid, to make sure that they can financially support these children.
Yeah, when the husband shows up and all the kids are on the best behavior and all that stuff, it looks like it's just easy work.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So.
Yeah. Well, and then Cody pops off with, so he's out here talking to his real estate agent again. And, still. And he's talking about, we do everything together. We all went in on this property together, so I'm going to split it 4 ways together. And I just think that that's interesting that
I paid for the biggest lot. That's mine.
Yeah, I bought that one lot by myself, though. Don't forget that. And I just find it interesting that they do everything together, but Robyn's house that's now $2 million. They didn't do that together. That's Robyn's. But the property, they all did that together. They do everything together, he says to the real estate agent. So I love how he picks and chooses what they do and what they don't.
I should clarify, too, that property was divided into 4 different pieces. So the real estate agent only has to get signatures for each lot.
Yeah.
Unless they all agree to sell it as one big thing. Then he'd need all the signatures. So
yeah.
Sorry, that just kind of went to my mind because he did buy that one up there, but he put Robyn's name on it too. So he's going to have to get her permission to sell it.
Yeah. Yeah, he will. Somebody says, I want to read this. Mel, how much do you think it eats Cody's craw that an all red married a woolly, and that's a true polygamous royalty marriage? Cody could never have that. My mom's true. Chuckling. She thinks that one's funny too. Because the polygamous royalty thing is such a dumb bullshit thing. It's not even true. Like, Cody did that to make himself look more important on TV. Like, he does 90% of all the other shit he does on TV. I know, now it got me a little bit spicy about it. But that's not really a thing. Did you ever hear that as being a thing, Mom?
What?
Polygamous royalty. So he married Christine because she was...
No.
Yeah.
It was...
Is that a Cody Brown thing, or is that really a thing? No.
I think it's a Cody Brown thing to make him think that he's important.
Yep.
As a peasant from the AUB, and no royalty, we would mock the royalty. So, because they,
You mocked me?
Well, I did, yeah. We mocked royalty because our parents weren't related when they got married, so...
My parents weren't related when they got married.
So that you probably weren't... You're royalty now, but you weren't royalty.
That's true. So, I wasn't royalty because my parents were not related.
Yeah.
So.
And we made fun as peasants because we didn't have the royal title. We made fun of the royalty because their parents were cousins. So.
That's hilarious. Scots. That's funny. But yeah... I think this part of the show, we're going to start skipping through a lot of this because we're already, like, I'm not sure. Oh, we're not doing too bad on time. Oh, I think it's interesting, too, that Cody talks about Janelle screwing him over all the time. Here's my theory on this.
He's angry at Janelle.
I know.
Because she's smarter than him.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's exactly my thought on it, is because Janelle is more educated on the family finances than any of the other wives are. So that's why he talks about Janelle screwing him over all the time, is because she comprehends what's happening a little bit more. Mary said it a dozen times. I don't understand any of this legal stuff. I don't know why the property got divided the way it did. Because she wasn't involved in any of it, where Janelle is. So because...
Janelle has receipts. She can burn his ass.
And...
in front of the judge.
So. Right, and Janelle got her real estate license. So she comprehends to some level what is happening. Now, in real estate, it takes like a good... We're 25 years in. It's taken us about 25 years to comprehend what the hell we're doing 90% of the time. But real estate's not...
She knows more than him when it comes to real estate. And so she's asking him questions, and he's like, I got the right people involved. Don't worry about it. Yeah. It's... Right priesthood leaders, I've been talking to the right priesthood leaders, so we know and will tell you. So
I just think it's interesting. That's my reasoning as to why he is like so upset with Janelle and just so bitter towards Janelle and so angry. Like he talks about her in such a vile way, and she's been nothing but supportive to him. I mean, I loved it the day that she told him to F off. That was an amazing episode. But
we're not going to talk about Robyn. Okay, then we're not going to talk about it.
Then we're not going to talk about anything.
Have a good day, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. But the way he does this with his hands is...
You do it so well.
I know. I get this little... What is that? His name's Meep? I don't know. I shouldn't do that. It makes my face look funny. Smeagol from Lord of the Rings, my mom says. It looks so gross. It's like, the dash cam, calm down me. Our son, we're on our son's account if you can't tell. That's hilarious.
Did it come up there?
I wonder if it did come up there, if it did pop up. But the way he, like, honestly, I think somebody really should get this man's head checked, because I wonder, like, if he's losing it.
No.
Oh.
I don't think he is. I think this is how he's always been. The wife's probably kept him in check. Now it benefits him better if they don't keep him in check. It's just like, yeah, unravel, buddy. Completely unravel. In fact, we'll just pull on a little kidney stone here and stuff like that. Okay, go say what you want to say on TV.
Right.
Look stupid as shit. So.
Well, and then he gets up there and he's like, sorry, ladies, you left me here holding the bag. I don't know what you want me to do with it. It's
That's
like,
so
oh, I'm
rude.
sorry, were we supposed to stick around till you got around to figuring out how to sell this land? We're just supposed to chill and hang out in Flagstaff while you and Robyn do whatever you want to do, and then you'll get around to us? Oh, is that what we're supposed to do?
Holding the bag like the property?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought he was being negative against the diesel model, diesel jeans gal. Okay, fine.
Now we got to repeat that. You guys left me standing here holding this bag. You can't call you can't call a former diesel jeans model a bag. Like, that's so rude.
I thought you did. I thought he did. So I'm slow. You guys got to work with me here.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. No, he was referring to the property, not the former diesel jeans model.
Okay, good.
Oh my gosh, that's so bad. So yeah, and the girls have offered to help. Janelle's offered to help Mary's. This is all just excuses as to how he can... Go ahead.
Yes, they've offered to help. They could even probably take care of this very quickly. Better, make more money for him, and just, hey, Cody, just sign here. We're taking care of it all. But he is not going to let... He's a man of men. He's not going to let women... be in charge, even if they know more than him. So yeah, it's fun to watch. So yeah, his ego is just, no, they are not going to tell me what to do. They probably know better than us, but they probably could make this go so much quicker and easier, but
yep,
not going to allow that to happen.
Not going to do that. And so then we go to this whole scene with so somebody says, sorry, I was looking at some of those comments. Somebody says, have you seen Sold on Salt Lake City and Bravo about Salt Lake Realty? Yeah, I actually know all those people. We know them all very... Jen, I adore Jen. The owner of it, Jen Yo, she's the owner of Presidio. And so she's such a sweetheart. We actually connected. I became the president of the Women's Council of Realtors here in Utah. And Jen was the previous. And so we kind of connected that way. And she's amazing. She is hilarious. But we have watched that show and went a couple of times. And then Tina, who's on the show, was also on my board when I was the president. Tina was on my board for a brief stint. So funny show. We watch it for entertainment purposes just because it's such a shit show. I don't watch it.
It's made for TV.
It's made for TV. I don't watch any of the Real Housewives because that's just too stupid for me. But this one's got a level of stupidity to it, but it's just funny. Like, we just watch it because it's funny. I think we're back behind 3 episodes. We haven't watched them. But Jen is one of my all-time favorites. She's a sweetheart. Okay. So we're back on, side note, sorry, there's a new reality show that came out on Bravo called Sold on Salt Lake City, or SLC, and it's all about real estate agents in Salt Lake City. And so, yes, we do know them. I network a lot more than Cory does, so I do know a lot more of them than Cory does. Go ahead.
Now, a great comment here on Cody, really. One of his things that I think he's so frustrated with these women about is he has a 6-pack abs. He's the righteous...
Not in this episode.
I know, but he's the righteous husband. These women adore him, you know what I mean? And how can they walk away, especially when he's lowered himself to love them? And not only are they walking away, but they're walking away and thriving.
Yeah.
And so it's such a smash to his ego. And so it's interesting to see that he can be so vicious a season ago to Christine. And then he moved on to Mary. And then now he's moving on to Janelle. But he is crying that they're making fun of him. I don't think they're saying mean and malicious things to him. They're just making fun of his stupidity. And he's only way to retaliate is being
vile and vicious.
Vindictive
and
vicious. And so we're both talking mean things, but I'm going to say something a little bit meaner.
But mine's going to be just one of those that just undercuts you so deep that you wish you had not been cut so deep.
Because she should have never left him. So
he did her a favor.
He did her a favor.
And we did talk about that a couple lives. Well, at the very first when we started doing lives, that's what people are saying. Why is he so angry with Christine? And we did talk about that because, in my opinion, he feels like he's so much better than Christine, and he did her a favor. Robyn's not on a lot of this episode, but we're on a couch interview with Robyn, and she's saying, they do a flashback of the family at the Lehigh house here in Utah. And and she saw that family environment. She saw the Friday night dinners. She saw that the family would all get together and the mothers would work together. Were there problems? Absolutely. There's no way that there weren't. But these women still tried to work together and get the family together. And so Robyn was like, that was my dream, was to be able to do that with them. Yet now Cory and I have not seen 90% of the show, but based on some of the snippets that we have seen, all the dynamics of the family changed because Robyn didn't want to live in the same house with them. She canceled a lot of the dinners. She changed a lot of the family dynamics that didn't work for her or her children, or that didn't feel safe for her or her children. And so then at one time, then she claims, they ruined my dream. They took away my dream, and yet she's the one who changed those dynamics when she came in because they were in place when she got there.
And if that was her dream, it wasn't her dream because she instantly went into changing what their structure was to try to morph it, I guess, into what her dream is.
Yeah.
And because, you can kick a dog, it's probably going to leave. You can try to kick wives, they're all going to leave. And so she's really good at kicking wives and dogs, so...
My mom's laughing in the corner.
They'll all leave, so...
Well, it's true. And then she's like, I watched the family start disintegrating after we moved to Flagstaff. And then she gets the tears. And she's like, I was just like, stop. I don't have 1 ounce of sympathy for this woman. Not one. I don't have 1 ounce of sympathy for her or for Cody in any way because they changed the family dynamics. And nobody understands why they moved from Vegas. I understand why they moved from Lehigh to Vegas. Wasn't the fear of prosecution of polygamy. The state would not have prosecuted them for polygamy. They would have prosecuted them for maybe other things. And so maybe they had other things that they were concerned about that they left, but not polygamy. And so they changed those dynamics so drastically. And now Robyn's over here crying, going, I'm just begging them to stop destroying our family.
Stop.
These women begged for that for 15 years before they finally left. And now that they want to leave. This is the mentality that just pisses me off, because I can treat you like shit over and over and over and over for 15 years. But the minute that you stand up for yourself and you're like, yeah, I don't want to do that anymore. Now you took something away from me, even though I'm the one who treated you like this for so long. And now you're taking away my dream. Now you're taking away my goal of one big family. And this is how the mentality is. My dad has this mentality so severely. He treats half of his kids like complete shit, treats half of his wives like complete shit, and then my mom decides she's done with it and she gets up and leaves, and now look what she's done to him. She's over there. So yeah, it's bullshit. I get tired of that victim mentality. So then they're talking about, so now they're all at the land, they're all watching each other jump in the water. I
thought he said skivvy dipping.
He did about the boys, but when he said he went skinny dipping.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but the boys, he says skivvies. He says it right there.
Okay.
So the boys were in their skivvies. He was calling it skinny dipping. And so, yeah. So I think that's what's sad to me is when you look at some of the dynamics of this family, they had a beautiful family. They really did. These children love each other. They adore their moms. There's so much goodness that was in this family. And that's what they're trying to find again. And I think that's what I was saying last week. I feel like Christine is creating that foundation again and giving these children or these grown adults now some level of foundation, because that's what they want. These kids love each other and they adore each other. And so when you have moments like this, where they're all swimming in the water, what are you smirking at?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it. Sorry. He looks like he's wearing
a blow-up suit that makes his muscles.
No, all the boys have kind of shorts on.
Oh, and he's wearing, I know, Speedos.
Is that Speedos?
It looks like Speedos to me. I was like, really? Like bikini underwear?
Oh, okay.
What were you going to say?
I thought they were Robyn's period underwear.
Okay, no, you should probably not have said that.
Okay, that's what they look like. No.
Please do not report this video.
Panties, there we go.
Yeah. Those cost a good pretty penny from Victoria's Secret.
They are.
Oh my gosh. My mom's over here laughing in the corner. Sorry, Mom, I can't control this man in his mouth sometimes. It's so bad.
I love his legs so much. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, I didn't understand like all the other boys are wearing boxers, and Cody comes out in these like tiny little things, and I'm like, what are you trying to do here?
They're men Victoria's Secret.
They're the men's version of Victoria's Secret.
Well, Cory, I'll meet you in the fiery place.
Oh my gosh,
save
please.
me a seat up front.
Now the vein in my forehead pops out. That happens when I get a little bit stressed, then the vein pops out in my forehead. That's hilarious. And so, okay, we're back to Christine, and she's talking about this Airbnb that they bought in Moab. I'm super excited for her that she was able to do that. I think it's awesome that she, what she does a very good explanation on here, where she's like, we would talk to Cody about something, and then he would just wear us down to where we were just like, okay, fine, whatever you want to do, just do that, because it just wasn't worth the aggravation. And I think that's where Cody's going to take Janelle and Mary over Coyote Pass. Mm-hmm. He's going to take them down to the just sheer exhaustion point,
just give us...
where they're just like, you know what, F you, just give us whatever we can so we can be done with this. And Cody's mastered this art, because most polygamous men have mastered this art. They don't want it, my mom, yep, because they don't want to deal with it. And so they put you off until you're just like, just give me whatever, I don't care. So that's one of the things I think is really great about the way Christine explains this. And again, all of her kids jump right in to help her. I really love and appreciate how supportive all of her children are with her. And I love that she says, I just bought a house. David hasn't even seen it. And that's funny, because that is really so empowering. And I was thinking about it. We haven't talked about this, but when we first got married, I had gone into mortgages, and I was actually doing really well for myself. And we were looking for a new car. We had just had our first child, biological child, together. And we had a minivan, which I will never drive a minivan again in my entire life. But Cory's like, this thing is great. Oh my gosh, it's got a TV. All this stupid shit that this minivan had that I hated, right? And so I'm looking for a Suburban. I'm looking for an SUV. I went from my nice SUV down to this minivan. And yes, my nice SUV was, it had its day. But so I go to the dealership and I buy this Suburban outright, and I write a check for it, and I just pay cash for it, and then I bring it home and show it to Cory. And that was really empowering for me, because I knew that he trusted me and had enough confidence in me that I would make a decision that was financially beneficial for us and our family. I wasn't going to go out there and just willy-nilly throw money away, and that he believed in me that I could do that. With my ex-husband, I had $100 spending cap. If I spent over $100, I needed permission. If I spent over, and finally, at one point, he got gracious enough and he raised that to $300. And so, yeah, right? And so if there was something that was over $300, anything under $300, I could just go and buy, that's fine. But anything over $300, I needed special permission. So I loved watching Christine's face light up when she was like, he hasn't even seen this house. He just trusts me enough that I'm making a right decision for the family. and for their financial situation. And so, when I bought that Suburban, it was a big deal for me because I walked in there and I negotiated it out. I talked him down a couple thousand. I'm like, if I write you a check right now for cash money, will you knock $3,000 or $4,000 off? And they said yes. And they did it. I wrote him a cash. I got in the car and drove it home. It was amazing. One of the best moments of my life. And so I really, really appreciated the scene watching Christine. And again, watching these women become so empowered in who they are and their own abilities after they leave this cult. And I've seen it dozens of times with dozens of women that leave and become so empowered after they leave, because now they're making their own decisions, and there's somebody hopefully on the other end that has confidence and believes in them as much as they believe in themselves. And that's what I thought was so great about watching Christine's portion of this. What do you think?
I love it. You make your own decisions.
Yeah.
In fact, she's probably a lot smarter she took a real estate course too, knows what to be looking for. So it's like, no, go.
I did have a real estate license for a while, but then I liked loans more, and I'm better at loans than I was. And having a real estate license is very expensive. And so Cory just kept the license in real estate and I kept the mortgage license. So that's why we did that. But I did take all my classes and I did get my license for, 3 years or so.
Yeah.
It was Janelle. Janelle got a real estate license.
License.
And so somebody had asked a question way back when, why didn't Janelle just sell the land for him? You have to have a license in whatever state you're trying to operate in. She had her license in Nevada. And so I had actually connected with her when she had her license in Nevada, because we were going to send referrals back and forth to her back in the day. So I do appreciate it. I love the way Peyton says this about his mom, that and we're going to get to that quote here in just a minute because I want to make sure that I say it. Yeah. And so I love the way that these kids support their mom so much. And then some of, like Cory was saying earlier, some of the secrets come out, like how many times these women have moved. It's disgusting. Like, what is Cody so afraid of actually giving these children a foundation?
Well, he doesn't like putting down roots.
Right.
Every one of these ladies are now putting down roots. Mm-hmm. Every one of them are building, buying that land, building and buying something. They're tired of the guy who's moving every 5 years or 2 years, and so now Robyn gets to deal with that, and I don't think she's going to deal with that too long. Hopefully they stick with their $2 million house, but give it another couple seasons and they'll be moving for some other reason. So,
right.
And Robyn doesn't even know where the porch is that they're going to be sitting around on. So
true. Right.
Maybe she should go up to where is it? Penguin, and just sit on the porch.
Parowan.
Wherever.
Go sit on Mary's porch while Mary's gone out of town one weekend, wishing she could have that with Mary. Have what Jen has with Mary. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, because Robyn did look from the outside in. Oh, I want what Mary has with Cody. Oh, I want what that family has with Cody, and then came in and blew it all up. Now she can come and watch. Now she can come and watch Jen and Mary and wish that she had what Jen and Mary have. But hopefully Mary's smarter now, won't let her come in and blow that up too. So, but I just think it's awesome.
Yeah, I don't think they're friends anymore. So.
No, I don't think Robyn and Mary have anything to do with each other, but I don't know that personally. But just based on what Mary said on a couple of these episodes, I don't think they have anything to do with each other.
Liked locally.
You what?
Robyn and Cody liked locally.
Are Robyn and Cody liked locally? I don't know. Like in the polygamous community, most people think that he's a joke, to be honest, that I'm aware of. Most people think he's a joke. I don't know very many people who take him seriously in the polygamous community. My mom's shaking her head too. If
he'd pay a proper tithing, then he'd probably be taken more seriously. So
the minute that he stopped paying tithing and lost his royalty princess, and
when she walked away, threw in the towel, man, that was a no. So probably kept the whole family together up until that point, but you get tired of it, you throw in the towel,
And you're
then
done.
all of a sudden it's easy for the other wives to go, yeah, she's right. What the heck am I doing here?
Well, and one thing I love to see too is Christine blossom into, a lot of people joked about Christine being a princess because she wanted things done. She wanted to try to get things done a certain way. And when you always have that baggage hanging on you saying, that's not possible, you can't do that, the family doesn't have money. Now all of a sudden she's got all of these possibilities in front of her that are amazing. So you're watching her, just develop in such a beautiful person, I think. Now, she was a part of the group. What was the name of that group, Mom? She was a part of a group with one of my dad's other wives. And that's how they found the Brown family to do the show with. Because they contacted Christine, and Christine, it's not, is it Faces or something in Polygamy? I can't remember what it was. But Christine was in that group with one of my dad's other wives. And so I'm sure she thrived in that group because she very much is a leader. She very much is a go-getter and getting things done. And so I love that her kids are acknowledging this and seeing this. Let's see, Peyton's coming right here. Peyton, I love that he's like, my mom's being what she's always wanted to be. I love watching her. She's so much different now than she was. I feel like in this religion, your personalities are stifled so much. Your abilities are stifled so much because you have to fit into this mold and into this, you don't want to stand out too much because the minute you stand out, now you become a threat to all the other women. And so you're molded into this little person. And now all of a sudden she stepped out of that and now she's blossoming it. And Peyton's quote is, I'm watching my mom and my mom's ideas are now I can, so now I'm going to. Where before she couldn't do so many of these things, but now that she
had
can.
to run it by the committee.
Right. But now that she can, she's going to. And so she just does it. And she just gets things done. Principal voices. Thank you. Yeah, somebody else put that in the comments. Thank you. Yeah, somebody says, Mel's so kind. He's a joke. That's so sweet. I'd say he's just an asshole. Mm-hmm. I've said that maybe 10 minutes ago, yeah, but it's true. So yeah, Principal Voices. So one of my dad's other wives was one of the main members of Principal Voices. Her, Christine, and then another lady. I think it was just the three of them, wasn't it? Mary something or other. I can't think of what her last name was. Everybody here knows more about the history of that kind of stuff than even I do because I wasn't that involved in it. And that is one of the frustrating parts about being in a polygamous situation is everything moves so slowly. You have to literally wait for everything to actually happen. When you're in a situation where Cory and I can just communicate to each other and it's like, let's make a decision, let's go do it, then here we are. We can make a decision, we can get it done. When you're in a polygamous situation, it's like, let's go buy a new house. 2 years later, you're still looking. You're still trying to make the decisions. Well, who gets to live in the new house? Who gets to do this? Who gets to do that? There's so many more nuances when there's so many more people involved.
Well, you got to look for the right upstairs, the right main floor, and the right basement.
Yeah.
For all three wives, so it's hard work. So
my mom was the basement wife, or
rock, paper, scissors on who's the basement
at
wife.
least some of the other wives tried to make my mom the basement wife.
And who's the trailer wife in the back? So
yeah. Somebody says, do you know Christine's aunt? She is often cited by another YouTube creator. Yes, my mom actually grew up with her.
We used to do barbecues together.
Yeah. They used
young
to do
marrieds.
Yeah, they used to do barbecues together, young marrieds. Wasn't she? Yeah.
She was a Darger.
She married a Darger. She was not married to
she married a Darger.
She was an Allred. She
was Owen's daughter.
Owen's daughter, yeah. So yeah, we do know her. Yep, and she is, I think she's actually written a couple of her own books.
I think so.
Yeah, I think she's written a couple of her own books. But yes, she was friends with my mom growing up. She did not go by Kristen Decker. She's changed her name since then, so she was known by something else back then.
Sylvia.
Yeah. Yep. So she was, I don't know if she puts her real, I'm sure it's easy to find her real name out there, but yeah, so they grew up there. She's the same age as my parents, so yeah, they grew up together.
I changed my name from when I was a kid.
Oh gosh. What'd you change it to?
Well, I used to be Sexy Beast, but now I'm just Cory. So.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah. Somebody says she was a dark. She was a Darger. Yes. Her name was Allred. She was actually Owen Allred's daughter. And then she married a Darger who was that's where she was a plural wife, was in the Darger.
Today's genealogy sheet will be up here.
In our background. So yeah.
Everybody's genealogy.
Yeah, so she was married to one of the independent Dargers. Yes, he is related to Joe Darger. Yes, they're all part of the same family. I know that question's going to come up. Yes, they were all part of the same family. And so then she ended up leaving along, I don't know, how many years ago did she leave? 30 years ago? She left him 30 years ago. Yeah. And so, and Joe Darger's, I like Joe Darger. I have known him for 30 years and I really like him. I grew up with his twin wives. So I really have always liked him. But some of the Darger, apparently Kristen's experience was really bad with her ex-husband. So
I don't remember that way. I have no idea what happened to them.
Yeah, that made her so angry.
I was blown away when I found out she was gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember either. Liza Darger and not Darger may confuse them. Yes. Yeah, Lisa Darger. I don't know. There's so many. The problem with this religion, just one of the problems, is that there's so many people and then they all have the same name. So somebody could say, hey, do you know Joe Blow? And then there's 15 Joe Blows that are all in the same family. Stop it. So, but yeah. Okay, so now we're almost to the end of this episode because we're coming up on our 2-hour mark here.
I thought you were going to say Joe R. I'm like, yeah, that's my brother.
No. So we're talking about...
This is brilliant.
Okay. We're talking about the different businesses that they've started, right? Robyn's on the couch. She's doing an interview. They're talking about the different businesses. And she thought that My Sister Wives Closet would be a great way to connect with her sister wives. Or was it a great way to boss her sister wives around and tell them what to do? I'm not sure. But nobody was really interested in the jewelry business. Come on, it's not that profitable of a business anyways.
She said Mary and her were. They were the only ones that were supporting it.
Mary was, yeah.
To support her, so.
Yeah.
And she was getting the most support from Mary, but not the husband, Cody. Shame on him, or the other wives.
It's
who
so
were
bad.
More successful everywhere else.
Yeah. And so she acts like she kind of came in here with this wonderful idea that is going to be like, what are you pointing?
Mel always thinks she can get away with an hour live.
Our YouTube or TikTok live that's coming on at 5, we have to keep it to an hour because we already have something else going on because Mom's about to go home tomorrow, so we already have dinner plans. So we're going to have to stick to that one. But we will be doing a live on TikTok at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. The pieces were overpriced. Right. So she comes in
but
with...
they were infused with virtue. So
purity.
Purity. Each piece was infused with purity so that you could regain your purity.
Yeah. So somebody says, Mel, you mentioned a series that explains polygamy and all. Well, there was one on Hulu called Daughters of the Cult, and that goes on to explain the concept. I've seen a couple questions on here about blood atonement. That kind of goes into the blood atonement part of it, and how one group killed the prophet of the AUB. So, and so that's, and somebody says they're going to miss you, Mom. She's at my house every other weekend. This woman just needs to move here because she lives like 2 hours away. So she'll just come up and stay here for the weekend.
She won't let my cats come.
I won't let her cats move in with us, so that's why she doesn't live with us yet, because poor Cory's allergic to cats, thank God, so we don't have to have cats in our house. We would just have my mom. But no, she'll be a backup next weekend too. Maybe while we're going to go on a drive next weekend. Maybe while we're on that drive, we'll do a live and my mom can answer questions in the car while we're driving.
Yeah. Problem with the jewelry is it burns on contact. Well, it's because you guys are heathens and that jewelry was blessed. So all you
That's hilarious.
Yeah. All the Gentiles were burning on contact because it was infused with silver or whatever their blessings were on that jewelry. So
that's hilarious. And so I think this is disgusting. Robyn's talking about My Sister Wife's Closet, right? And she's tried to do this setup and she tried to make it so good. And then they literally show a scene where the only thing, Robyn's standing in the back all sheepish and shy, like she's too embarrassed or doesn't want to talk to people. And Christine's like right out front going, hey, let's do this. Let's, and I've worked these trade shows and I know how it's done. It's hard work. It's not, you can't just stand back and hope somebody wants to buy your product. And then she goes on to say in the same breath that Christine didn't support her.
Well, she's doing the couch interview saying, yes, we're not being supported. And then the producers are like, and here's all the video evidence against that. But keep saying what you're saying there.
Yeah.
Liar pants. So.
And then Cody comes on and he's like, okay, this is where this guy is such a piece of work. Like literally he comes on and he's like, I don't care about your dreams. I don't care that you want to start something. I don't care what your motives are. Just show me the money. What the? I mean, this guy literally, he is so abusive. It is unreal.
Well,
go ahead.
He messed up too because he's got 3, worker wives that are producers that have all now left and are creating their own dreams.
Yeah.
And he's got mopey Sister Wife's Closet sitting there not doing shit. Maybe doing feet pics, but that's about it.
Oh my gosh. I don't think you can say that either. We don't know if she does feet pics. We don't even know
what that is.
I will explain to you when we're done with the live here.
Okay.
It's not a nice thing, Mom.
It is. It's just your shoe model. So Diesel shoe model or something like that. So
yeah,
it'll work.
So
Diesel's jeans are coming out with shoes.
So at the beginning of the episode, we talked about the seed planting. Here we are. Cody's talking about we started all these businesses together. We, some of them have failed, some of them have moved on, but we all went in on it together. So then he talks about how the only real truly profitable one is the one Janelle has. And Janelle just up and took that with her and left. And he goes, so we no longer see any of the profits, but we all helped fund that. I think the starter kit on that literally is like $250. I'm not even kidding. If it's the same business that I think he's talking about. And so it's literally like $250 to get this thing started. And then she did all the work. She's the one doing the social media posts. She's the one enrolling people. She's the one getting everyone in there. And I'm not saying that these guys, maybe, but as far as I know, Robyn and Cody have removed themselves off social media. And that's where these women are making a good chunk of their change is what it looks like to me. And so I just think it's interesting that that's a seed planting for later. Like, well, look what we did for you, and you took the business. So therefore, you're not entitled to any of this extra assets or equity in a home that we have or equity in the property that we have because you took a prosperous business. And so these are some of the seed plantings that you're seeing, that I'm seeing going on. And so, I think that that's going to come back, and Cody's going to try to use that against Janelle later in the fact that she had the only profitable business. And Christine was in that business too, as far as, I think they all post together, her, Christine, and Maddie. If it's the same business, I don't know if it is or not. But I love that, Christine, now we're getting to the end of the episode because we're getting to the end of our 2 hours here. I'm really discouraged with the way that Cody handled this real estate agent because I feel like it's completely wrong in the way that he's saying, you get an offer, you give it to me, I will then present it to the other partners and I'll let you know what we all want to do. And so he's getting a filtered version to these women and they're not getting the truth. We all know it. We can see it. And they're not going to get the truth until they see a couch interview. And then they're going to get the truth about what really happened. Kind of like how he graduated, or kind of like how he lost his virginity. These women don't know the truth until he does it on a couch interview. It's disgusting. So I think that's like such a shitty way to do it. Go ahead.
And I guarantee the agent knows that Janelle was a real estate agent. And
I'm sure he does. Yeah.
Probably picked up the phone and had a real conversation.
I hope so. If he is a good agent,
He'll
if he
know
does
what
his
we
job
are.
with being integritable, he will call everyone who is on title, and he will have a conversation with everyone who is on title. If not, he probably should be fired, honestly, because that is not how to do business. You do business with everyone who's on title. So yeah, then we're going to go into, go ahead, what we're going to say?
Not that I've sold any feet pics, so I wouldn't know, but there's some terminology within the industry about somebody's favorite customer or treating people like best customers. So I've just heard. I don't know.
We don't know.
So I don't know anything.
We know nothing.
My feet pics.
I'm the only one who receives his feet pics, I promise. So, I'm the only one dumb enough to pay for them. So.
You buy my feet pics?
I
thought I was making money. So, sorry, guys.
That 50-cent profit you got the other day, that was all me, baby.
Oh, dang it.
You're welcome. So
I thought I was being successful. Doggone it.
So, yeah. So, there's the end of that episode. So, we stayed up till a little bit after 3 last night discussing how irritating and frustrating this episode was to us because of just Cody is just completely unhinged. And that's I've used that word a million times because he is completely unhinged. But on the flip side of this, I really did enjoy watching how empowered these women are. You can see it all over their faces. Christine looks 20 years younger than she did 10 years ago. Mary's looking amazing and fantastic. And Janelle, I mean, look how she just lit up when she said, I'm going to own a flower farm.
Land,
yeah. It's amazing to watch these women. Not every woman in polygamy gets the opportunity that these women have, but they also don't put themselves out there publicly like that either. And so I think it's awesome that these women are doing what they're doing. You good, Mom?
They're taking...
No, you're not.
They're taking the age and peeling it off and just handing it to Cody. So,
yeah,
he's the one aging. Robyn's the one aging.
Yeah, they're the ones picking that up. It's horrible. So, thank you guys for joining us for this week. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, our new microphones come in tomorrow. So, we are going to be filming more podcast style things. We already have a bunch of them planned out. And we tried to film them, but our microphones are just complete shit. So they're good microphones. They just don't like us. So we're going to be filming that in the next little bit. So you're going to start seeing some of those podcast things come out from us. And where we'll talk more about our experiences in the AUB and our stories and the things that we've gone through. And I do have at the very beginning of my channel here, I have 5 episodes that I'd already started about when I left the AUB and how, what got me motivated to start this channel in the first place. So thank you guys so much. My mom is still here. She just snuck out for a minute, but we will be going live on TikTok at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time tonight.
If it's still open.
Yeah, if it's still open. And then, it is. They did come back. Yeah, okay. They were able to give us all those. And then,
what about the James collaboration?
Oh, the James collab. That's what I was just checking my emails for because I guess he got busy and so we weren't able to do that. And we were scheduling time for tomorrow to do that with James. So, so now I don't know if my mom, she might hang out, like if we do it in the morning, so my mom might hang out just to watch us do that with him. He got kind of busy and then our schedules were just not working. And so we're going to be trying to work that out for tomorrow. But I emailed him back. What?
That would be, since it is your mom's favorite YouTuber.
Talk louder.
Since it's her mom's favorite YouTuber, maybe we should just put her here.
Put Mom in the middle?
And you there. And
no, it's going to be you, babe.
And I'll run the other stuff.
Nope, it's all you, babe. So we're hoping
it'd be awesome to have her on there with talking to James. That would be a good...
No, I don't know. I think my mom's still at the point where maybe we shouldn't put her on camera
okay,
quite yet. She's still in the thick of it all. She's still trying to leave, and we got to make sure that she's... that she can emotionally handle some of it.
Put a fuzzy face.
So if you guys can make it to our live on TikTok at 5, if not, I will repost it up on I know our Alexa.
She's incognito.
Our Alexa keeps going off. But I will upload that back onto YouTube probably tomorrow. And then I emailed James a couple hours ago and said, hey, tomorrow morning would work good for us. So cross your fingers. I'm hoping that happens. If not, then we will be doing it very soon with him, I promise. So thank you guys so much for being here. This was a fun couple of hours. And watch for us on TikTok. If you don't have TikTok, no access to TikTok, you can watch for the uploads either really late tonight or first thing tomorrow. Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
See
Everybody
ya.
have a great day.